So, lads, the Embiid and Sixers situation is getting absolutely ridiculous, lads. It is getting absolutely ridiculous. I want to apologize if you guys can hear a little bit of background noise. It is just something to heat up this room. I just got results of a scan. It turns out that the what I thought was just, a routine, like, just not getting over some sort of an illness. Turns out for the last month I've had pneumonia. So, yeah, not ideal, but videos don't make themselves. So, I'm just going to record a few, then I'm going to sleep pretty early tonight. Either way, Maxey calls it Embiid for impacting the team by being late for everything. That is not good on Tyrese Maxey at all. Or not on good on Embiid, sorry. It says here, after falling 2-11, Philly called for a team meeting where Tyrese Maxey challenged Embiid to start showing up on time. I'm sorry. To be fair, Embiid didn't even show up on time for deciding what country he wanted to represent. But this is from Shams right here. This is the entire article on ESPN. But this is mental. This is absolutely mental. It's not even loaned properly, but it says here, amid a 2-11 start with their trio of Embiid, PG, and Maxey yet to play a game together, Sixers held a team meeting following the loss to Miami. It was their fourth loss in a row. Sparking Kyle Lowry called for a meeting, a much needed heart-to-heart. Called to action for urgency. Source told ESPN players and coaches held each other accountable and took fall for the start of the season. Maxey challenged Embiid to be on time, calling him out for being late for everything and how it impacts the locker room. From other players to the coaching staff, sources briefed. And it's funny because if you look at like other professional sports, like if you look like, again, the professional sport that I'd be most probably like familiar with as far as like how teams are ran would be soccer, like other than basketball. And all of the top football teams in the world or soccer teams in the world, if you are late, you get fined. It does not matter. You could be on very little money. You are getting fined if you are 1 minute late. If you're 1 minute late for a meeting, you're going to get fined thousands. And then Embiid being late for everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if NBA teams have like that as a thing. That they have it that their like players will get fined if they're not on time. But, Embiid's probably above the law. Or he just doesn't care. Players told 76ers coach Nick Nurse they want to be coached harder. And coaches in turn said they want players to practice with purpose. So the players say they want to be coached harder, and the coaches basically said, we want you to play harder. Like, Embiid accepted the message sent in the meeting, sources said, but he stated that he is sometimes confused about what they're attempting to execute at the court. What does that have to do with being on time? What does that have to do with being on time, Mr. Embiid? Embiid, who was listed as doubtful most of Monday due to an illness, was not seen by teammates and coaches throughout the day before appearing for warm-ups and playing in the game. What is going on? So he's like, yeah, I'm sick, I'm not playing. He doesn't... Oh, Joel, are you playing? You playing? Oh, you in the changing room? Okay, he's not playing. What the hell is he doing on the court? Like, that's what it seems to be happening. Maxey is highly regarded as a young leader by many in the organization, and those around the team were not surprised that he spoke on Monday. He's been out since November 7 with a strained right hamstring, but sources say he's expected to return this week, either Wednesday in Memphis or Friday at home against the Nets. Philadelphia transformed the roster in the offseason after falling in 6 games to the Knicks. In the first round of playoffs, the Sixers added George, a 9-time All-Star, on a 4-year, $212 million deal to join Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, who hours later signed his own 5-year deal. I'm sorry, Maxey deal, good money. Paul George deal, bad money. After years of trying and ultimately failing to find the right players to surround Embiid, they had the right players. They had Jimmy Butler. They just chose, and it's not even choosing Tobias Harris over me. They chose Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. That was the issue. They chose Simmons over him. They had the perfect player. They got rid of him. ESPN ranked Sixers 3rd in the preseason rankings. Their over-under was 51. I think it won't be too long until that is mathematically impossible. But, yeah, the team is 0-3 since Joel Embiid's return. Like, they have an Embiid problem. I don't know what's going to happen here. They have an Embiid problem. They have a contract problem when it comes to Tyrese Maxey, or when it comes to Paul George. You've got Tyrese Maxey, who is one of the best young guards in the entire WNBA. So, that's huge. Like, that is absolutely huge when it comes to the like when it comes to that. But like Joel Embiid, it seems like he's getting worse. It genuinely seems like Embiid is regressing. Obviously, there was always gonna come a time with the amount of injuries Embiid has had and has had to play with and play through. And people forget Joel Embiid missed literally his first 2 years of his NBA career because of injuries. There was always going to be a sharp drop off. It seems to be now it's happening. Like we saw how bad he was at the Olympics. Like he was terrible. That man changed country to win a gold medal, and he sucked for Team USA. I know he had 1 to 2 games, but come on, he's meant to be Joel Embiid. Like that team was being carried by 36-year-old Steph, 35-year-old or 39-year-old LeBron, and he's Kevin Durant. You know who he is. Like that's who they were being carried by, and Embiid just seems to be coasting. Who is leaking what takes place during a private meeting? And again, I wonder who is leaking that. It'd be very interesting. Which player is just sick of this all? Is it Maxey? Could it be Maxey? I don't know. Either way, though. Let me know what you guys think. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think it's almost an impossibility that they're a top 6 seed. I would be, unless they can turn it around and Embiid turns into MVP Embiid, if Maxey gets healthy, if Paul George is back, and then McCain becomes the most devastating 6-man in the entire NBA, then maybe. But, I don't see it happening. If you're asking me what's the likelihood of the situation, I think this is the year where people realize, the Sixers are not in a good spot, and it's over. Because, Embiid is 30, might as well be 35. With the amount of miles on his legs and just the amount of injuries and everything, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that Embiid survives long enough to go into Tyrese Maxey's prime. The positive is that you can kind of go into a soft rebuild, is that you can tank this season. You can tank this season, and you can probably move off Paul George and Joel Embiid, and you can get some half-decent assets for Paul George. You can get a king's ransom for Joel Embiid. And then you can put yourself in a situation where you can take a Cooper Flag, you can take an Egor Demin, you can take a Ace Bailey if you want a wing scorer. But I would probably go for the 6'9" freaking point guard, or I would go for Cooper Flag if I was the Sixers, because I think you can put a point guard beside Tyrese Maxey, because I think as much as Maxey can play to one, I think he's more of a scorer than anything else. Either way, though, it is a horrible situation for the Sixers, and they look like they are screwed.